Chris, how are you? Good to see you. Pastry? Anyone? Pastry? Yeah. I just made them. All right.
That's another talent.
Yes, I'm a cook. After all, it has mine have a special ingredient, if you know what I mean.
They are very expensive. Though.
Yes, very expensive.
The humor in Breaking Bad is dark and far from the one in Malcolm in the Middle. And are you at ease with this other kind of humor?
Am I what?
At ease, comfortable with this other kind of humor?
I love it. Just like any human being, we have some silly parts of us, and then we have more serious times when we want to be sincere. And that's no different than any actor. So when I did 7 years of Malcolm in the Middle as a goofy dad, and he's afraid of everything, and crazy things that we did on that show, it was a lot of fun. But that was done, and that's over now. And so what I was hoping to find was something more serious, something that would allow me to work more dramatically. And then I read Breaking Bad, and it knocked me out. I mean, from the first moment, if you remember the very first episode, it was that on the page. A middle-aged man wearing a respirator, only in his underwear, 2 dead bodies sliding in the back. He's driving crazily in this car. I'm like, what? So I read it and read it and read it all the way through. It was just amazing to me. And it was very risky. And I thought, I've never seen this on television before. I've never seen this. And then I met with Vince Gilligan, who is the writer, producer, creator of the show. And he told me something else that I've never heard of in the history of series television, is what he wants to do. We may fail, but we're going to try something that has never been done before. And that is, when you start a series, you are introduced to a person who is one way, characteristics of a person. Basically a good man, has done everything right in his entire life. And through a set of circumstances, he starts to change and adjust physically, emotionally, mentally. And by the end of the series, however long that is, he's going to go from a good person to a bad person. It's going to completely change. And I'm listening to them, I'm fascinated by this, because can this work? I've never heard of this. Even like Tony Soprano he was still a mobster when he started, and still a mobster when it ended. And you make some adjustments and you change, but not from black to white, or in this case, from white to black.
What does really make you laugh in real life? You enjoy all type of comedy, like the sitcom type with Malcolm, or you're more dark humor?
I like it all. I think there are very funny things in Breaking Bad, but several people don't even know that it has dark humor.
No.
And that's okay, because some people just are horrified by what they're seeing, and they don't get it, and that's okay. I think it's very respectful. We don't have a laugh track. We're not saying, "Hey, laugh now. This is funny." Here, it's if you find it funny, laugh. If you don't, the story still holds up on its own. As far as personally,
movies or
I'm not. The romantic comedies are not as much to me. I like the surprise humor, edgier humor, but it's always based in truth. And instead of joke humor, like someone telling a joke. When I go to a stand-up comedy club, you know what you're going to hear, and that's different, and then you can laugh. But in entertainment, in movies and television, I'd prefer that the comedy come out organically out of the characters' situations that they find themselves in.
Are you the kind of carpe diem person? Would you have reacted the same way, like, okay, my life has to be something now, I have to do something insane, or...
Personally?
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate that I don't have the same stress that Walter White finds himself in. It is something that is common in the United States. It's an unfortunate part of our society that although teachers are very revered by society, they're not paid that way. The other thing is the healthcare system. There are many good things about the United States, and the healthcare system is not one of them. To tie the most important thing to a human being, health, to profit, is insane to me. It makes no sense at all. And hopefully now we have a man who can guide us into a reasonable generation. And so there's a lot of excitement in the States about our president, and hopefully slowly, because it's a big machine, that we can move towards sensibility and true diplomacy, not like Bush, which was a horrible, horrible period in our lives, as far as I'm concerned.
About Breaking Bad, did you prepare yourself a lot because you know a lot of chemistry?
I didn't know much about chemistry, and I know a little more now, but not much. But that's what I prepared. Going into this, I knew that he was a chemist, a scientist, a teacher. So that's what I learned. I went to the University of Southern California and followed a chemistry professor, the head of the department there, for 2 days, asking him all kinds of questions, taking all kinds of notes, just to get the sensibility of chemistry again, know what it's about, what the meaning is behind it, and what type of people they are who are so precise. And I really, they're very specific people. They're scientists. Everything makes sense. There's order to things. You do this first, then this, then this. You put this chemical with this chemical, you will get this. Now, Walter White is entering into a world that makes no sense. The world of crime is based on ego and anger and greed, and you cannot organize it. It's crazy. So it's very frustrating for him. So in preparing for the role, I just wanted to focus on the chemistry and learn about how crazy it is as I go along as far as the drug, crystal meth, or cancer, or those things.